Good morning, distinguished audience in BITS Pilani, Hyderabad campus. It is a great privilege to be in addressing you. I am doing this presentation in the capacity of being a chair of India Region Center of Expertise, Hyderabad, and also I am a member of the Standards Committee of Censors Council. So I regularly attend the Censor Council meetings, so I am privy to that information. In that capacity, I can share what is happening in Censor Council as well as what is happening in my own standards group also. So let us start. So most of you are 1 minute again. It's venting. Sorry, I should not touch. I think this is what I am doing. This is the Census Council's mission statement. You already know about it, but the issue here is I want to focus this thing into this. And Census Council is trying to standardize on the sensing and transducing. These two words is just sensor as well as transducing, and the focus is also on the uh, emphasis on the electronics and the reliability of the sensors and integrated sensor and actuators. These two are very important words, most of the things in the sensors, it is always the signal coming from the sensors is a very low energy level, and it is transduced into electrical thing. So the transducer is actually used, and sensor per se it cannot be used independently, but it has to be a transducer is also a part of it. And uh, this is the ones this Sensor Council is concentrating on trying to do a standard of the sensor plus transducer of that. So and mostly all the time we are doing a sensor only, sensor and actuator together. It is not, people don't see of that. That is actually mostly used in the hydraulic systems, in the aviation, and this kind of things we used. Even in space things we do that. So with this introduction, what we have to do is we need a standard only to see the reliability and this. And why this reliability is very important, I'll just give you an example. In a steel melting shop, when you are doing the thing, and we add all this rare element magnesium and all those things we add, and immediately you take a temperature measurement, they dip a thermocouple. In the process, the thermocouple dies, but the temperature which is coming, it should be a very fast response and it should be very accurate. And if it is wrong by about 5 degrees, then in something like about that 2000 degrees, and the quality of steel is bad. Similarly, when you are doing petroleum oils and you're in the refining, and if you are every 2 degrees is one octane number, and in 500 degrees range, your measurement of 500, 501 or 502, it makes a lot of difference. So accuracy and precision is very important, and this kind of a special sensors, India, we don't do it, and India has to progress a lot into this. So with this little background, I will say that, and Sensor Council has an ambition of doing a standard of P25210, and they wanted to do it for harmonizing for industrial sensors. Unfortunately, in the sensor world, everybody uses different terminologies, and all these sensors things need be harmonized. The purpose of the standard is this, and this standard could not fly, and it is advised by Census Council, Standards Association, that we should do this as a recommended practice. And still it is not flying because we are short of voluntary resources, and people are welcome to do that. And how I come into this picture is, when the sensors things which we do the standard, we have to show them in the sensors application, something like that in industry 4.0 or smart buildings, smart sensors, we have to do in that. So what they did, the Sensor Council people, they sponsored the project of Instrumentation Measurement Control Society, and I'm also the member of the Standards Council of Instrument Measurement and Control Society, and that's how I came into Sensor Council, invited me to be the part of it. We have an agreement with the Sensor Council to do this in the building automation standards in industry 4.0, and a smart city application of water distribution. These use cases, Sensor Council want us to do that. And Sensor Council is very much eager to start this inertial guiding subgroup. So this also needs a volunteers. And now let us come back to the subject of transducers thing. See, you see in this IoT application is done. Usually when you are doing this, we collect the data from the sensors, which you see in the blue color sensors, and then we have the network node, which is you see the network node there, and then the bottom you see sensor nodes. That is actually transducer interface modules. So we have a standard for this network node, as well as the standards for wireless sensors. You see a good number of wireless sensors here, and coming from 802.11 Bluetooth, and the Zigbee is now outdated. Now Meta's Venkatesh will be talking about that, and you will know more about. And other is low power LAN. And then NB-IoT. So many are coming. All these work groups are already there for this. And the first portion of it, you see integrated network node and sensor node. That means actually here you see their nodes are separately here, and here this is combined here. So one of the applications which you can say is geospatial applications. And yeah, remote sensing agency, then when they are doing this aircraft, when they are flying, and all these applications, they're all taking, and there is a local thing where they will be able to see the sensor application, pan and zoom with the geographical location, they see all that. There are similar, one example of that application I have given. So the standards group is working on all these standards. So the next one we see is IoT sensor architecture framework. You see the first portion of it, all the sensors are there for this, and they are coming to a microcontroller, and the microcontroller, this standard is the smart transducer interface module. So like this, you have for all these phones on the left hand side, you see the sensor hub and the transducer, and then this is all coming to a hub, and this is network controller which we have showed you there. And then from there you also see in the dashboard IoT applications. And then for configuring all these things, you can do the transducers and electronic data sheets. There's in a computer, we can do a program of that. And these sensors and all these things to test, there is a test designs, you work on this test results and documentation, and there are means to provide test stimulus. And once this thing is from this standard, we are also working on standard 1451.99, and in that these node controllers are all harmonized and integrated, and then it goes to the cloud, and federated systems can be on this. So this is basically, I'm trying to give an overview of what is happening in the census framework. So what is happening is that the when we produce the standards, they should be popular. The industry should use them. Unless the industry uses them, there is no meaning. So one of the hardest things for IEEE Standards Association is how to make the industry adopt the IEEE standards, and the community gets the benefit of IEEE standards. So there is got a program called IEEE has an industry confirmation program. They certify the products they are conforming to the standards, and sensors qualified by them are already there, and then they are all been put in the sensor registry. It has got all the necessary digital documentation, and we can integrate these sensor products and transducers and geospatial applications. This ICAP is very active, and they did a roundtable conference with industry in 2020 in Austin, Texas. And their main purpose is to resolve interoperability and security issues for IoT-enabled sensors. And they also, in that roundtable conference, they identified the concerns of the industry, formed an action group and an advisory committee. And then follow-up thing was done, held an advisory committee leadership summit in October 2023. And they published a strategic plan. The strategic plan is cannot be normally I will show you that sensor council strategy plan which has been done. This long listing short-term actions and long-term goals, and this thing is the sensor strategic challenges. They they are the four pillars which they have explained, and trust and all those things are also there on this. And what is the thing is the standards should have the diversity, equity, and inclusion, and member society engagement must be there. And then education and conference related activities. This is something which we want to do in India. And if Censor Council members come forward, IRCOE can take initiative for this. And general education is very important. Create open and online courses on sensors, put high quality tutorials on the websites, create a target list of papers, and long-term goals is establish the links between the educational activities delivered at conferences, publications, educational activities, and this greater integration with digital technologies into SC business. Adopt this JCS platform, and general conferences, we have to promote this long-term, and conference partners, we have to do this. So in India, we must do this. So I go back to presentation part. So next thing I'll show you, what the thing which we are doing is we have put the India Region Center of Expertise. There is a Standards Committee of Industrial Electronics and the IEEE SCI Industry Conformance thing. They came together and conceived the idea to establish a constellation of centers of expertise. And there are already 6 of them are there. The India one is the 7th one. And this is the one where IRCOE has interest in industrial IoT and metropolitan distribution management systems. And we are having a dialogue with BHU, Banaras Hindu University, IIT, want to do something there, and they also want to have some projects with them. And objectives is to stage a multi-node reference IoT system for prototype developments and assist development of standards, and verify and validate the use cases and for the applications. Of course, we do the prototyping, test design, testing, test data evaluation, and all that. And unfortunately, we cannot do the testing for the conforming thing. The conformation assessment, we should always be at arm's distance from IEEE standards and societies. That's the reason there's a third-party test labs are qualified to conduct conformance tests at the behest of the industry and test norms. So this is what we are going to do. And that is my short presentation to you, introducing them. Thank you, sir.